It's your boy Jimmy. Oh, oh, no, 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 no. Straight from y'all, street to Wall Street. Anybody tells you that money is the root of all evil doesn't have any. Whoa, no. Dude, wake up, get that girl hyped up just to get a little bit. The only woman in the morning wanna turn on his Becky quick. While the average man's looking at curves like she fine as heck. I'm over here looking at tails and wicks like buy or sell. I left the chaos for the market. Nah, I don't want a street spot, I want a stock pick. I know the style got flair, trigger my stop losses, but I ain't got time for distractions. My Vivo with PFs crossing, rich with hot trades, I'm pushing hot keys, straight to G's and plans to make grand. Still in my tank top, Batman pajamas, house slides in about 5. Hot picks of the day, cause I like the way the dial moves. For hot dips on call, so I got options. 2 with a lot of volume, 1 with a double bottom. Now I know some folks don't understand. Am I talking about my trade or just thinking with my Mac day? You see we're different in the way we move. You move with kittens and your dogs, I move with bears and bulls. I got a green thumb, I grow at the market. Waking up with the future, stacking up some commas. I jump out of bed, make profit, eat my bacon and eggs, make profit, light up watching them candles, make profit, while I'm still in my sandals, making profit. They used to watch me move dance, roll style. Now I watch moves in the NASDAQ. Used to run from the ATF and the car. Now I run down ETF and make profit. I jump out of bed, make profit, eat my bacon and eggs, make profit. I watching them candles while I'm still in my sandals, making profit. See me and Jim Cramer been talking mad money. He said today I'm taking the risk, they got the feds coming, but I got support here with me. I call the short squeeze. You get the drop, she pulls the trigger and shuts it down. If she stays on my watch list, I might have to keep her, but I know better. I'm a true trading group lifer. Go ahead, be bold. Trader, get your squad head. I'll double top that guy, head and shoulders. Hit him up with this resistance. Watch him roll over, cause I see big moves in contracts. If I say I made 1 million a day, well, that's a large cap. You moving average, just why you get calls, get split, get delisted and knocked off. And I'm setting the whole block off. I'm buying GameStop and selling them roadblocks off. Jump out of bed, eat my bacon and eggs, light up watching them candles, while I'm still in my sandals. They used to watch me move them packs, bro, stop it. Now I watch moves in the NASDAQ, profits. Used to run from the ATF and the cops. Now I run down ETFs. Hey, my plug that we don't trade. Right on what we do, man. Hey, Prada, hey, Suge, Mike. What we doing, dog?
Make profit.
That TTG money gang. We making profit. We some snipers.
Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? What's going on, folks? Welcome to the True Trading Group live stream. Welcome to the first trading day of December. It's the last month of the year. It's the first trading day of the last month of the year. And it is a red one, which actually is pretty normal. First trading day of December actually historically tends to be red, as the markets usually kind of float their way higher on a shortened low liquidity holiday week the week prior, with Thanksgiving and Black Friday, with the markets being closed on Thursday and the half day on Friday. And we also we're coming off of what was a 5% bounce off of a major support level. We had a nice little pullback, a nice little cool off in the markets today. If you guys caught my live stream last night, we've discussed expecting a little bit of a cool off in this market after the 5% rally that we just experienced off of the key support level. And we didn't quite get down into the support levels that I was looking for us to turn around and go long at. I still am eyeing up the levels we talked about from yesterday. We had a couple of the trade ideas that I gave you guys in the live stream last night that worked out really well today, especially Apple. Apple was one of the top long ideas last night that I gave you guys on the YouTube stream. And Apple with a new all-time high today, showing incredible relative strength, up 1.5%, 283, new all-time high, while the markets gave you a nice little pullback with the SPY down around 0.5%, NASDAQ down also as well. All right, so what we're going to do here today is we're going to start to talk about and start to plan on what we think is going to happen here in this market for the final month of the year. And the question that I'm getting a lot of is, can this crypto crash derail a Santa Claus rally? That's what I've been hearing. That's what people have been asking me. And I'm also seeing some really interesting price action today between MicroStrategy and Bitcoin. There's a fun fact. MicroStrategy today at its lows, when we were trading under 160 bucks a share, MicroStrategy was actually trading at a lower market cap than the value of their Bitcoin holdings, which is pretty insane. That's the first time that I think we've ever seen that the market cap of MicroStrategy was actually less than the value of their Bitcoin holdings. And even if you were to account for MicroStrategy's debt, which is around like 8 billion or so, and you look at their net position, it was still, the market cap was still less than the net holdings of their Bitcoin position. So that's pretty crazy. That really is a sign of that stock getting oversold. There are specific reasons why that stock was oversold, and I'll talk to you guys about that here on this live stream today. My name is Michael Edward Parinati. I go by Michael Edward. I'm the co-founder and head trader at TTG. I want you guys to understand that True Trading Group exists literally to help you learn faster, trade smarter, and profit sooner. So what we're going to do here on this live, we are, of course, grateful and proud to be partnered and to be powered by the NASDAQ, Benzing, OpenAI, TradingView, DataBento, and, of course, Unusual Whales. You guys see True Trading Group is a fintech platform. You're not just a chat room with trade alerts and courses. True Trading Group received the 2024 Benzing the FinTech Award for Best AI Analysis Tool and are a finalist for 3 of those awards this year. This is a platform that's built on education backed by experienced strategies proven through decades of success and tools that are all fully customized and centered and think around you, the individual. So no matter who you are, no matter what you trade, no matter how much money or time you have or don't, True Trading Group exists to help you guys make money, and that's exactly what it is that we do here. Members of TTG are part of something real special. I couldn't be any more proud to be on this journey with each and every single one of them. If this is your first time on the YouTube stream here at True Trading Group, make sure you subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, show some love, and then make sure you turn on your notifications so you are notified when I go live in the future. Because every time I go live, I always give you guys analysis, market commentary, trade ideas, positions I'm in, positions I'm getting into, and free lessons I can help you guys make money as early as tomorrow. Right? That's the goal. It's at the end of the day, that's why you guys are all here. You might be wondering who I am and why you should listen to what it is that we discuss here. I think you should pay attention to what I talk about on these streams, not because I claim to be the world's greatest trader, but because I didn't figure this stuff out on my own. I was actually trained by professionals on Wall Street, my first job at a college, working at T3 Alpha Fund in New York City. They had me go through a training program before they let me touch $1 of the fund's money. And then shortly after that, you had the Great Recession, 2008 stock market crash. But that was also the same year that I received one of the firm's Trader of the Year awards. Now, if you fast forward, I'm the co-founder and head trader of True Trading Group, and along with my team of 8 other professional full-time trading mods and over 30-person staff. We've helped thousands of members from all over the world reach their goals. True Trading Group has around 11,000 members from 115 different countries, truly a global community here at True Trading Group. So whether you guys are brand new and you're looking to get started or you're experienced and just looking to level up, you found the right place. Stick around. We're going to make some money together. All right. Now, first, what I want you to do is make sure you're watching this live in real time. Right. You want to make sure you're not watching this live stream delayed. So you should take a little peek down there. Make sure that you see a red dot next to the word live. That red dot means that you are watching this live. Okay. If you do not see a red dot, that means that you are watching this delayed and we need to get you brought up to speed. So click on that word live, see that red dot, and then I'll guys bring you guys right back up to speed and I'll bring you guys up to live. All right. With that all said, let's take a sip of water and get started. Nice little pullback day in the markets. And just a cool off, right? Nice little pullback in the markets and it's just a little bit of a cool off. Okay. Nice little pullback, nothing crazy. And if you guys were on the live stream from last night, remember, we talked about this, obviously, last night. I drew out this level for you guys on the live stream last night, and this line is still here, right? We're still here. I'll just highlight it for you guys here one more time. Here's previous resistance, then you had the big gap up, became support, dropped back down into it. And then again, support, broke through, gapped up, support, broke back underneath. And you can just see every time this level is engaged with, right, you see an impact. Okay, so you see resistance, support, resistance. So I'm just still looking at this level here. It's in the mid 670s. I'm looking for that to be the zone. Okay, I'm looking for a nice little cool off pullback right into this level. And then I'm looking for us to move back to the upside. I still do believe the pain trade is more upside. I do still believe that the markets have more room to the upside. And why is one of the main reasons that I believe that. We talked about this yesterday. One of the main reasons I think that is because of the fear greed index. And emotions are a hell of a drug, man. The emotions in a market really do kind of tell the tale. And that fear greed index is actually, with us being just a couple of percentage points away from a new all-time high, coming off of what was a 5% rally in the markets over the last 5 trading days, we actually, on today's pullback, on today's gap down, we actually got that fear greed index reading back into a fear reading. Okay. Now we got all the way down to extreme fear. When we were all the way down here, we got to extreme fear, which is just not what you see when we were 5% off the all-time high and you got an extreme fear reading at what was a major support level. It's just not what you see before the markets are about to crash. And I was telling you guys about that. Anyone that's been watching the live stream for the last 2 weeks, then you guys know all about that. Then you got this nice little recovery. And even after a 5% rally in the markets last week, the fear greed index went to neutral. Then you get this little bit of a gap down today, and then it goes right to fear. And I think a lot of that had to do with, the crypto liquidations. You had over $1 billion of leveraged crypto accounts liquidated in the last 24 hours. Big down day for Bitcoin and just crypto in general. And I think that maybe scared some people a bit. And then you go online and all you read about is what's going on in Japan and how all these people on social media are trying to convince you that there's going to be this massive blow up event. And listen, I'm not saying that what's going on in Japan is nothing, but what's going on in Japan, I think, coupled with this crypto liquidation, is what got people to be fearful. And to be at a fear reading this close to an all-time high, nah. I'm telling you, I think the move is still to the upside, right? I think the move is still to the upside. And people that are all getting blown out right now on these crypto accounts and these leverage crypto accounts, you have people that have 100 to 1, 50 to 1, 25 to 1 leverage. It's insanity. It's absolute chaos. It's absolute mayhem. And you've got people getting liquidated and people that retail traders are being blown out in crypto land right now. But not here, not at True Trading Group. I'm actually thrilled. I think that the timing couldn't be any more perfect because we're actually launching our brand new crypto program, okay, this month and then going into next year with a real strong focus on that brand new crypto program at True Trading Group. And if things work out the way that I think they might, we might be launching that crypto program right around the lows of this pullback. I'm still a little weary that Bitcoin might have a little bit more room to the downside, but I think we're getting close to these liquidations kind of running their course. And then we're launching that crypto program. I don't think the timing could not be any more perfect. A lot of people are really excited about the crypto program. At True Trading Group, we day trade, we swing trade, we cover long-term investing. We do stocks, options, crypto, futures, you name it. We trade it here at True Trading Group. There's literally something for everybody. All right. So I think the timing on that couldn't be any more perfect. So excited for that. Okay. But as I sit here and we're now a couple of points off that all-time high, just having a 5% rally in the markets over the last 5 trading days, not including today. And then you get one little red day, one little pullback, and that fear greed goes from neutral. On Friday, it was neutral, even after 5% bounce. And then you drop into fear with one little pullback. I'm telling you, man, that's not the price. That's not what you see on that fear greed index before the markets are about to crash. So I think pullbacks, I think they're viable unless there's some major outlier event that we don't see coming. If there is a major blow up in Japan, if the Fed does not cut rates at the December 10th meeting, something that surprises or shocks the market, then I'll change my tone on that. But for now, I'm looking at this support level in the mid 670s, and I'm still looking at this area to be support and then try to bounce it back from there. All right. So that's kind of what I'm looking for still here on the SPY is this zone support and then try to push back up and start to flirt with those high 680s and try to get up there and test that all-time high.
Hey, Mike.
Yo,
what did you mean by a blow up in Japan? I kind of feel like, is it too soon to start using that as a reference?
I mean, it's definitely not too soon.
No.
No,
All
it's
right.
not. No, it's not too soon.
All right. No, I was just.
That was a really long time ago.
Yeah.
Adam loves torturing me. Adam gets pleasure from torturing me on a live stream. that is he does. He gets real pleasure from torturing me on these live streams. But anyhow, that is kind of, and that takes me to, yes, the title of the live stream is, will a crypto crash derail the Santa Claus Rally? And I think that the answer is no. I think you've seen the markets hold up real nicely while crypto has sold off. And crypto has really been a staple of risk on, risk off. And even with crypto kind of getting obliterated over the last, month or 2 months, really, it started in October and then went through the whole month of November and starts off again here the first day of December. The markets are still just sitting up here right near highs. I think you're seeing a decent broadening out in the markets. And if we get those rate cuts, I think that sets us up for a nice little end of the year push. That's what I'm thinking about. Is the title clickbait? Yes. And I'm proud of Brett for clickbaiting. Yes.
I got to tell you, I'm super proud of him as well. You guys don't know Brett, but these YouTube titles are going to be, they're super generic from him when we do it. And, that really doesn't get you excited. It doesn't really, So I'm damn proud of him. I know Mike is too. Yeah. So good for you, Brett. This is a great title. I know Brett's not here. It's just Lucy, but Brett did the title earlier. We're proud of him. It doesn't say stock market crash. What will the Fed do tomorrow? Like, it's not generic. It's good. Anyways, go ahead.
Yes. All right. Excellent. All right. So yes. But these are the questions that I'm getting. Right. These are questions that I get from people, is whether or not we're going to see, this crypto crash. Is it going to get worse? Is it going to derail the markets? And I'm sitting here and I'm telling you guys, I still think that the pain trades to the upside. And I think pullbacks into the 670s, I think that we're going to look for and find support in those 670s before eventually working our way back up towards those highs. Okay. So, there's a lot of people in here that feel like they haven't taken advantage of the market over these last 2 years. And a lot of people that got very nervous, and a lot of people that got very scared when the markets crashed in April, and people that got really worried about tariffs and everything else, and people that are really worried about the jobs data that you were seeing. But we just got retail sales. Right? We're getting Black Friday sales. We're getting Cyber Monday sales data, and they're solid. They're solid. They're solid. These numbers are solid. Listen, are they the best numbers you've ever seen? No. But are they, oh my God, red flag? No. There's nothing wrong with the numbers that we are getting right now. They're solid figures, And I really want you guys, I want you to think about it first. Really ask yourself, do you really feel that you did the best you could this year? Is that what you guys feel? They're solid because it's all on credit cards. When's the last time you went on shopping online and purchased without a credit card? I get people are like, oh, and retail sales are good because they're on a credit card. Yeah, okay, I get it. They're always on a credit card. Okay, but I want you guys to ask yourselves, do you really feel that you did the best that you could this year? Do you feel like you did the best that you could? And I think there's a lot of people that might feel, and there's a lot of people here that might feel like they didn't. Did you make as much money as you feel like you could have? Did you take advantage of the gift that the markets gave us in April? Did you take advantage of it fully? Did you catch Palantir, Alphabet, Apple, AMD, Snowflake, NVIDIA, CEG, VRT? Did you guys catch these? And then you got to be honest with yourself. You know, if you can't be honest with yourself, I mean, who's going to be honest with you, right? I mean, you're the only one that could. You got to really take a deep look and kind of think to yourself if you really took advantage of everything that's out there. And are you taking advantage of all the technology that's at your disposal now? You know, the retail trading activity is at an all-time record high, higher than it was in 2020, higher than it was in 2021. And it's not because everybody is sitting at home with nothing to do and they're all working from home. People are back in the office. You actually just saw the head of Instagram is actually now requiring employees to come back to the office a full 5 days a week, right? Work from home is over. COVID is over. Everybody having all this extra time is over. So if that was the reason why so many people got into the markets in 2020 and 2021, and we saw record retail trader participation then, the reason was, oh, well, everybody was home and everybody had extra money and no one had anything else to do. That's not the case anymore. So then how are we surpassing the 2020 and 2021 figures for retail trading participation, reaching all-time record highs in options trading and reaching all-time record highs in equities trading if everybody is back at work? And the answer is it's technology. It's the things that are available now at your fingertips. It's the fintech platform that is True Trading Group. It's the tools and resources that you have available to you that can allow you to trade and make money from anywhere in the world while you are at your job or you're at your kid's soccer practice or you're sitting on the toilet. These are the tools and resources that are at your fingertips. And you have to ask yourself, are you truly and fully taking advantage of what's out there? Why are all of these other people getting involved and taking advantage and you're not? This whole thing, oh, I don't have enough time. That's nonsense. That is a garbage excuse. I don't want to hear that excuse ever again from anybody. 82% of the members in True Trading Group have a full-time job, and they're still doing this. Now, to be fair, members of True Trading Group have access to literally an award-winning fintech platform, the best AI trading analysis co-pilot that you guys can find in the markets today, hence the Global Benzinga FinTech Award for Best AI Analysis Tool. But these are the things that are allowing members, no matter if they're driving a truck, they're driving an 18-wheeler for 14 hours a day, or they're climbing up on top of a tree to cut down some dead wood, or they're sitting, in a cubicle somewhere, or they're working from home, or they're, a construction worker. They're able to do this because of these tools and resources. And when I say do this, I'm not just talking about farting around on Robinhood and buying and selling a couple of call options. I'm talking about doing this consistently and profitably and actually making money. That's what matters. That's why you're here. You're on this live stream so you can figure out how can you make money in the markets. Maybe you feel like you didn't take advantage of everything fully as you should have this year. Do not make that same mistake again going into next year. Because the technology is out there, it exists, and members of the trading group are making money because of it. As much as I would love to sit up here and take all the credit and say I'm the greatest trader the world has ever seen, I have a 100% win rate, and everybody at your trading group is making money because they all follow all the trades that I take. Much as I would love to say that, it's not the reason why. The reason why is because they have access to tools and resources that other professional traders have access to that they're now able to use because of this platform. And I'll prove it to you. Don't just take my word for it. Members of True Trading Group, do me a favor. Type the number 1 in chat if you're making money and you're becoming a better trader because of TTG. And anybody that's on this live stream right now, if you are not a member, you should pay close attention to how many people are about to type the number 1, because these are all your peers. And if these people with their full-time jobs and their busy schedules and their account sizes and their risk tolerance and their strengths and their weaknesses, okay, and their prior struggles, if they can now sit here and tell you that they're now making money with this platform, then there is absolutely no reason why you also cannot. There's no reason. Faye Doctor, what's up, brother? There's absolutely no reason why you guys cannot. All these people typing number 1 are not luckier than you. They don't have more time than you. They literally were once you, a viewer on a live stream. Now they're sitting here telling you that they're making money because they joined and because they have access to these tools and these resources. That's the difference maker. Yes. Am I a good trader? Yes. I've been doing this for almost 20 years. The moderators that we have at True Trading Group, amazing traders. Decades and decades of experience. These are people that literally put food on the table with the money they generate by trading, and they've done it for many, many, many years. The moderators and I collectively as a group maintain a cumulative win rate on all of our executions of just around 80%, now going on roughly the last like 6 years. We track all of our entries, our take profits, our stop loss, our stop outs. Everything is right there for you guys to see. Fully transparent, open book inside a True Trading Group. But it's not just the alerts. It's the tech, it's the tools, the resources, it's the education. It's the camaraderie, it's the community. You got to get to join a community of 11,000 traders from all over the world that all share the same goals. And that's just to make money and reach financial goals and get better. Become financially independent, not have to worry about inflation, not have to worry about my car insurance, my health insurance rates going up, not have to worry about the cost of gas or the cost of groceries. Yeah, does all that stuff suck? It sure does. But you want to know what sucks a lot more? Having to change how much or what it is that you are buying from the grocery store because of those changes, because of those prices. It's a lot better just to say, man, shit, how much is this? Wow, that's expensive, as you put it in your cart. Instead of saying, oh, damn, no, you know what? Let's put that back. We're going to go with this brand instead. Or, man, the organic blueberries are how much? No, screw that. We're going to go with the other ones. That's what this is about. It's not about buying a mansion or a private jet or sailing on a yacht. It's about becoming financially independent. It's about not having to worry about all these other financial pressures that you feel on yourself. Everybody's financially stressed this time of year. You got to buy gifts for people. You're hosting. You've got to travel to go see family or friends. Like there's this extra financial burden. There's a reason why retail companies do the overwhelming majority of their total revenue for the year. They do it in the 2 months of November and December. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. But more than half of the revenue generated by those retail companies comes during the fourth quarter. Joining was the best thing I did for myself in a long time. It gave me a way to change my life. Smooth Brain, I appreciate you, brother. This is what it's about. Duck Butter, great name, says best financial decision I've made, and that was 4 years ago. They've increased the value multiple times over with tools, access, and content. I got into Mara calls around 10:40. I set 3 take profits and a stop, and I went to work. I got alerts at 12:27, 1:01, and 3:02 final. No staring at screens all day, and analyze, execute, and I put my phone down. This is what's possible with this platform. Exactly what Jimmy Benson, what's up, my man? Hope you and the fam are doing well. That's exactly what this is about. Comment right there from Jimmy Benson. If we want to throw that up on the screen, guys. There it is. No staring at screens, right? No staring at screens all day. Analyze, execute, put your phone down. Go to work. Go about your day. This is what makes the difference. This is why we have over 70% retention rate amongst our members. Our refund rate is less than 2.5%. You can do this. You just need the right tools, guys. You need the right tech. You need the right platform. So those of you, here's what we're going to do. Actually, those of you that are not members, okay? If you guys are not members, okay? If you are not a member, as you guys may or may not know, today is Cyber Monday, okay? Now, we talked about this yesterday, about Cyber Monday. And we also talked about Adam and the team working on developing some new stuff as far as the AI tools and the AI capabilities. We're constantly updating our AI and coming out with new tools and resources and everything else. So we have new functions and new tools that are actually being released here within the next couple of days that our members are going to be getting access to. But we didn't have a chance actually to change the checkout page from yesterday into today for that Cyber Monday sale. So what we are going to do is anyone here that is on this live stream, if you guys are on the live stream, before we actually push that Cyber Monday sale live for this evening, I'm going to give an opportunity to anyone that's actually on this live stream with me to send in a text message, and we will give you an offer that is going to be a better deal than the Cyber Monday sale that's going to go live on our site. Okay, so little our way of making up for not having it ready and live for you guys here already, because the membership to True Trading Group for the year is normally $1,247 for the year. Now, we are launching a Cyber Monday sale, but I'm going to give you a better deal if you are on this live stream. So what you need to do is send your first name and your email address to the phone number that you see on the bottom of your screen. It is 1-888-621-2127. Again, the phone number is at the bottom of your screen. It is 1-888-621-2127. We will give you the information for the Cyber Monday sale, and we will give you the offer that we're going to give you now, which is going to be a better offer than what the Cyber Monday sale is actually going to be. Your membership is going to be a year-long membership that will also include our AI Plus tier version of Mari. Mari is our AI. Stands for Market Analysis and Research Intelligence. You get all the real-time capabilities of the market data, the option chain analysis, technical indicators, support resistance levels, FinViz market lens screeners, TT Triangle, pattern scan, that's our own proprietary scanner, level 2 analysis, bull bear analysis. You have all the different screening capabilities. All of this is going to be included. Rams, absolutely not, man. Do not fall short your portfolio in the S&P 500 right now. I'm actually bullish. I am bullish. All right. You guys are also going to be getting a double your money back guarantee. Yes, we do offer a double your money back guarantee. It is in writing. It's right on our website. We will talk to you and give you more of that information when you guys do text in. But the way that it works is you pay to join True Trading Group for the year, complete our courses, log on to the site at least 50 times throughout the year, actually execute trades with real money totaling more, to double your membership costs. And if you can't make back your membership fee at least once, we are going to give you not just your membership fee, we're going to double it. We stand behind this platform we've created. We put our money where our mouth is. So for example, the normal price, that's not what you're going to pay if you guys text in now because of the Cyber Monday sale. The normal price is $12.47. So let's say you joined and paid $12.47. If you don't make that back, we give you back $24.94. That's how it works. Okay. So just send us a text. We'll let you guys know the Cyber Monday sale, and we'll give you another offer that's better than that for those of you that are on this live stream currently. And you'll get the double your money back guarantee. 1-888-621-2127. Okay, that is 1-888-621-2127. You guys get to see firsthand why is it that we received the FinTech Award for Best AI Analysis Tool. It's the Benzinga FinTech Award for Best AI Analysis Tool in 2024. And we are a finalist for 3 different awards this year. So come check it out. Okay? Again, that is 1-888-621-2127. Okay. And if anybody has any questions or concerns or anything else, you guys can also send a text that number. Again, just give me your first name and your email address, so that you guys can opt into, we can then respond back to you. We can communicate with you. If you don't send your first name and email address, we're not going to be able to communicate with you. Okay. So there we have it, folks. All right. So with that now being said, while you guys are texting in, we're going to go hop on over to a segment that the TTG fam loves, and is a segment that we like to call Grade My Stock. So members of True Trading Group, or anyone, doesn't have to just be a member of True Trading Group, just anyone that is on this live stream, you guys can go ahead and fire out round of ticker symbols, and I'm just going to randomly pick a ticker symbol that I see come through the chat. We're going to pull it up on the screen. I'm going to grade the stock, A, B, C, D, F. It'll be a combination of fundamental analysis with technical analysis, with near-term and long-term ratings based on what my opinion is on this stock that we are going to be discussing. All right. I know you guys love the rounds of Grade My Stock. We're going to bring it back here today for this live. So with that said, let the round begin. Go ahead, guys. Send those ticker symbols inside of chat right now. Let me see which ones we got coming across the screen. I will randomly go ahead and pick one. First one I see is Apple. And of course, we're going to do Apple because I talked to you guys on my live stream last night. If you missed it, go back, check it out. One of our top long ideas today was Apple. And the reason why Apple was one of our top long ideas is because of this previous all-time high, little flat top out around 276, 277. And we held it. There's your previous all-time high, resistance, right? Resistance. We broke it last week. So there's your break last week on Tuesday. And then after we broke above it on Tuesday, you can see support on Wednesday and Friday. And then we said to you guys on the live stream last night that we're going to look for 276, 277 to be support. Okay. And then where do we go today? What's the low of the day? Low of the day here today on Apple is 276.14. And then just an absolute rocket ship back to the upside to a new all-time high. So we'll go back. We'll do to the intraday chart. We'll go to the 3-minute. There you guys can see here's that support level. As we break things down, we broke through that on Tuesday. You can see support low of the day Wednesday, support low of the day Friday, and then support there, low of the day here this morning. Nice little reversal set up here. We got down, tested it, and then reclaimed that previous low of the day. So you broke the opening range low and then reclaimed it off of support. That's a confirmation for a buy signal. And then you get this nice little float your way move back to the upside for a new all-time high. Now, tremendous relative strength on Apple. You guys can see the SPY gave you a nice pullback into the afternoon, but Apple said, I'll see you later. I'm not going to care about that pullback that's taking place in the overall markets. The boss is back as Apple's now pushing back up through to a new all-time high. So what is my grade on Apple? My grade on Apple is an A. I mean, I own Apple in the long-term portfolio. The stock is breaking out to new all-time highs. I've owned Apple for a very, very, very long time. It's, my largest position in my long-term portfolio. So, it's hard for me to give anything other than an A, hard to give anything other than an A there for Apple. Okay. All right. So next up, we're going to go to, IREN. That's a good one. IREN. Okay. So I'm really intrigued in a lot of these crypto mining names that are transitioning into AI power generation. There's a bunch of them. There's IREN, there's APLD, there's CIFR. There's a few of these, and I like them. I do. I like them, but I'm going to give I think they are risky. I think these are risky plays. These are not the type of names that should have the same amount of capital allocation as like an NVIDIA and Apple and Microsoft and Amazon and Alphabet, JP Morgan, something like that. I think these are much riskier stocks than that. So the capital allocation has to be adjusted for that. But I'm going to go, Hut 8 is another one. Hut 8's another one that I also do like. But as far as IREN, we're going to go with, a B minus, just because I think these stocks are still a little too expensive, and I still think you might get a little bit of a deeper pullback. But once you get IREN into the 30s, I think IREN into the low 30s or so, I think that's a good enough spot that you can start to grab some for the long-term portfolio. So I'm going to give it a B minus. Yeah, I'm going to give it a B minus to like a C plus to a B minus, just because I still think there could be a little bit more downside into the 30s from right now. Because if I give it a higher rating than that, then that kind of means, hey, I think you can go ahead and you can probably step in and take an entry on it now. Again, this is just my opinion, but I think there might be a little bit more of a cool off and a little bit more of a pullback on some of those names. Okay, out of all of them, I would say I like IREN, I like Hut 8. I like APLD, CIFR. These are the stocks that I think are that are interesting to me, that are within that realm of crypto mining, power generation for AI, and that little transition. Okay. Ooh, that's a good one. MicroStrategy. So for me, I actually think MicroStrategy is trying. I know I said this about a week ago that MicroStrategy is trying to bottom, and I still do think MicroStrategy is trying to bottom. And I think that you might get a decoupling of MicroStrategy and Bitcoin, because the premium has been sucked. So much of that premium has been sucked out of MicroStrategy. I said to you guys earlier today when MicroStrategy was near the lows of the day, MicroStrategy was trading, its market cap was less than the value of their Bitcoin holdings alone. That's crazy. Okay. Now there's a fundamental reason why MicroStrategy has been getting hit as hard and aggressively as it's been. And that's because there are limitations on position size for option positions with some of these other vehicles. If you had a whale, someone that owns $500 million worth of Bitcoin, $1 billion worth of Bitcoin, those people cannot appropriately hedge their positions with a lot of the other options that you have on a lot of these other crypto related securities because of a 25,000 contract limit on that position. Now there's going to be a change to that. You're going to be seeing that a lot of some of these position limits are going to be going much higher, up to like 1 million contracts, which would allow then these whales to be able to properly hedge their positions. So when you have a blowout like you've experienced in crypto, what ends up happening is MicroStrategy doesn't have those same type of limits on their options. And the liquidity is through the roof. So what ends up happening is MicroStrategy gets unfairly beaten up as everybody flocks to MicroStrategy for a hedge on their crypto position long in Bitcoin. And a lot of it gets done through the options market. And then that forces a lot of that selling pressure into MicroStrategy. And that's when MicroStrategy has gotten unfairly beaten down at a much sharper rate than what has actually happened to Bitcoin. You also have a lot of selling pressure coming in because of the potential ruling coming up in January about maybe MicroStrategy being considered a Bitcoin fund and therefore not being allowed to be connected or being part of any index. The MSCI is going to be ruling on that in January. But once that ruling came out that the MSCI is looking at MicroStrategy because more than 50% of their value is in one asset, and that's Bitcoin, then it's considered a fund. And that is why a lot of people then started to get ahead of that ruling and started to sell, because if that's the case, and it's ruled that you cannot be part of an index, any fund that owns shares that tracks that because of a tracked index, because of a tracked index mandate for that fund, they're going to have to be forced to sell those shares. And that brings more pressure into MicroStrategy. So those two things coupled together is the reason why MicroStrategy is sold off as much and as hard as it has. But today, you saw a very sharp reversal in MicroStrategy when you did not necessarily see as sharp of a reversal in Bitcoin. It feels like some of that washed out price action has occurred here at MicroStrategy. And even as I'm talking to you after hours now, the stock has continued to bounce, and it looks like you're putting in a little bit of a bottom here. If you're taking a look at a chart right now on MicroStrategy, you'll see you have a real nice support level here that was around 166 from last week. You broke it, and then now you reclaimed it. It feels like you might get a little bit of a relief bounce now here on MicroStrategy. I think the easier move now is a little bit higher from here, a little bit to the upside, and you get a nice little dead cat bounce. I would be very, very careful trying to short MicroStrategy down here after this massive gap up, extremely high volume. Look at the volume bar that came in on MicroStrategy today. Okay, 43 million shares. 43 million shares. And then you had a nice big sharp reversal. I think that your next 5% move or so, whatever it is, or 10% move or so, I think it's to the upside on MicroStrategy, not necessarily to the downside, as a lot of that hedge against MicroStrategy gets unwound and the stock can breathe again. And then you get the stock will bounce back and get back to a market cap that's going to be more reflective of the value of their Bitcoin holdings. Because like I said, today, it kind of felt like a flush out where the market cap was less than the value of their Bitcoin holdings. And that to me is just kind of crazy. So I think you might be getting ready for a little bit of a dead cat bounce finally on MicroStrategy. So with that being said, we're going to give MicroStrategy. I don't own MicroStrategy in my long-term portfolio. I don't have an intention of owning MicroStrategy in my long-term portfolio. So because of that, I can't give it an A. But because of the trade setup, I'm going to give it a B, because I do think the stock is gearing up for a dead cat bounce. I think you can get a decent little bounce back to the upside that is tradable and can make you guys a lot of money. Next up, CLF. That's a tough one. CLF is a tough one. The stock has performed really poorly. I'm going to give it a C. Election Z's, I'm going to give it a C. I just don't see a clear-cut pattern on a technical standpoint. You have a lot of resistance up there in the high teens. I just don't see a clear-cut pattern. I really don't. I do not see a clear-cut pattern there for Cleveland Cliffs. It's a good company. It's a well-run, it's a well-managed company, but I'm going to give it a C. Just has really been kind of lagging behind, and I'm not sure what the holdback is there, so we are going to give that one a C. Netflix. We're going to give Netflix I think we're going to give Netflix. We're going to give Netflix an A. We're going to give Netflix a B plus, A minus. Netflix, great company, great business. Reason why I do like Netflix is because they have you have the tech growth aspect. I think them getting into live sports it provides a big runway for them. They are the clear-cut leader in streaming, and nobody really compares to them in the streaming markets. And it's a recession-resilient name. The last thing anyone is going to cut if someone came on to financial hardships, the last thing they're going to cut is their Netflix subscription. You'll probably cut your Spotify subscription before you cut your Netflix subscription. You'll sell your car and you'll trade down on your car and you'll stop going out to eat. You're not going to upgrade your iPhone, but you're not going to cancel your Netflix subscription. You're not going to go out as much if you have financial hardships, so you're going to want to stay home. And I just feel like Netflix gives you the growth tech aspect while also giving you some recession resilience. And, this is a nice support level down here around 104 to 106. You guys can see on my screen that previous pivot top from February. We broke through that. We now pulled back down into it. We stuck it. We held it. You had resistance at 108, and which was support at 108 that you're trying to break above. And I'll draw it out for you now here. So you can already see the support level. That's the main one. But then here is now one that's a little bit less obvious. And here you can see support. You broke underneath it. And now you're trying to get back above it and reclaim it. And if you do reclaim it, I think that stock can give you a little bit of a move back to the upside. But then just be careful because you have a death cross coming up. So I think you might bounce from here on Netflix, right? Let's see this. The blue line is the 50-day, the dark blue, and the yellow line is the 200. So you're going to be coming up on a death cross here. So the bounce back on Netflix from a trading standpoint, be careful for that rejection off of that, just from a technical standpoint for the death cross. Okay. But I do like the setup there for the near term for Netflix, but just again, be mindful of that death cross. Ballin since 91. I'm sorry. I already went over IREN. Celsius. I'm giving Celsius a C. I never really got into this to Celsius. I never owned it. I never understood all the hype around it. I always felt like the stock was incredibly overvalued. The air got let out of this bubble there, or the air got let out of the sales in 2024. Massive double top at 100. Stock was sold off, went down 80%, all the way down to $20. Now it's back to 42. From a technical standpoint, I'm not crazy about the chart. You have, support there around 40. Looks like resistance in the high 40s to low 50s. And I don't see Celsius getting back above this area here. If you do bounce higher from here, I think that Celsius runs into a problem up here and then trades back to the downside. I'm going to give this one a C. Meta. We're going to give Meta a B plus. It is, from a long-term portfolio perspective, it is an A plus. From a short-term trade perspective, we'll give it like a B. So we're going to land right around a B plus to an A minus for the total grade. I'm still very bullish on Meta long term. It is actually not a very expensive stock. Its forward PE is not high at all. You're not necessarily paying a crazy premium for it. It actually trades at a lower PE than the S&P 500. And obviously you have a much higher growth potential on Meta. The problem with Meta is people don't like the way that Mark Zuckerberg spends. So when you go through these spending phases, like he's spending right now on AI and data center development and everything else, it's seen as very aggressive, and a lot of people don't like such incredibly aggressive CapEx spend. So it gets dinged on the investment side. It gets dinged because they're taking on some debt. It gets dinged because the CapEx continues to increase quarter over quarter, but they continue to see results from that CapEx. If there is a company out there that's been able to directly correlate increase profitability, increase margins, increase ad revenue efficiency with the money that they're spending on their AI products and their AI developments, it's Meta. And I think that Meta has such a long runway with AI, and eventually years down the road, eventually I think Metaverse does come back. I think Metaverse does become a very big thing, and they're going to be at the center and the forefront of that. Meta is a stock I own in my long-term portfolio. I will own it for a very long time, and I don't think the stock is very expensive. So it's gotten beaten up because of everything that I just spoke about. You do have a death cross coming up. Again, 50-day moving average, dark blue line about to cross under that yellow line. That's a 200-day. And you have a ton of resistance up here in the 680 to 700. You guys can see just right in here, ton of resistance up there. Previous support, gapped underneath it, sold off. Now you're bouncing into it. I think you have a little bit of a ceiling for Meta up into here. So longs up into here, I think be careful of a little bit of a rejection from that point there forward. So that's why I'm saying from a long-term perspective, I love it in the long-term portfolio. From a short-term trading perspective, you may run into resistance as you approach that 250-day moving average. All right. So that's going to be Meta. We'll give that like a B plus. GEV, love GEV. We're going to give GEV an A. Okay, love GEV. I am looking for an entry opportunity here on GEV. I would love to get this thing closer to 500. Great company, really great company. I love the utility energy play. I love the utility energy play. And I think that 200-day moving average is a beautiful support level, and I think it's a buy there. So low 500s, I think that's a buy there for GEV. We're going to give this stock an A. Love the long-term play, and I like the chart as well. Guys, quick announcement here for our members. Immediately following the live stream, one of our futures moderators, Colin, those of you that are members, you guys know Colin. Okay, he's going to be in the main chat room doing a clock tower session. Those are our futures training sessions. So that's going to be happening in the main chat room. Again, all of our members, you guys can hop into the main chat room immediately following this live stream, as Colin will be hosting a training session for you all inside of main chat following this live stream. Fortinet, FTNT, this is a stock that I own in my long-term portfolio. We're going to give this one a B plus. I own it in the long-term portfolio, so obviously I do like it. And from a charting perspective, I think we're in a good spot here. I like the longs here in the 70s. You guys can see I just drew this chart out for you. You can see all of that resistance for 2021, 22, 23, 24, resistance there in the 70s. We finally broke through that last year. You pull back down into it, and now you're trying to hold above it. I think that Fortinet climbs back into the 90s. VST, that's another one I own in my long-term portfolio, Vega Meister. So for this one, we're going to give we're not going to give this one an A right now. But I'm going to give it a B. And you're probably wondering, well, Mike, why? Why not an A? And because we're just so damn far away from some of these weekly moving averages, I just think these averages need to catch up. And you might go through a period over the next several months or into next year. You might go through a period where people might start to say, well, are we really going to either A, do we need as much compute? Do we need as much energy as we think we're going to need for all of these data centers? Or can things like Alphabet, is there something else come around that makes it feel like we don't need as much energy? I don't think that's the case, but I think that conversation might come up. And then the possibility of just it not being realistic that we're going to be able to have as much energy as we need for all these data centers. And that might cause a little bit of a hiccup in the space. And we're so far away from these moving averages. I just feel like maybe a little bit more of a pullback is possible. So I do own VST in the long-term portfolio. It is one of the names that we had added to back earlier this year when the markets crashed in April. And I own this thing down near $100. We're now at 174. I think that, entries in the 140s, even the 150s, probably a little bit better for the long-term portfolio. Not that great of a day trading stock as of recently. It's been very, very, very choppy. Here you can see a lot of this just muck. Green, red, green, red, green, red. Very difficult kind of a day trading stock here right now. So that's why we're going to give it a B and not an A, because it's not really setting up for a great day trade. And I think that from a long-term portfolio, this is a good spot to nibble. But a bigger chunk, taking a bigger bite, maybe a little bit lower from there. But this is a stock that I do like, and it is a stock that I do currently own. Yeah, MongoDB is ripping on earnings. They did have earnings, and we're going to give MongoDB a B. We're going to give it a B because of this chart setup you guys see right here. See this? We use MongoDB, guys, extensively at True Trading Group. We contributed to part of their earnings blowout. So, but you see this pattern here on MongoDB, massive descending triangle. So just be cautious of rejection and make this your third point, and then a pullback, and then, eventually maybe find your footing, create that higher low, and then break out of it. But it's going to take time for that to happen. Right? It's going to take time for that to happen. But I wanted to show you that setup there. So I'm a little wary of that level. It's going to be like 400 to 420. But then you have a beautiful support level down here around 315, 320. So, I think maybe a consolidation over several months in the mid 300s allows it to gain enough steam to eventually break out of this downtrend line and have MongoDB climb back into the 500s. I do think MongoDB long term, I do think the stock goes back to the 500s, but I do think it takes some time. Is the market like closed? The market's not like closed. The market is closed. So right now it is the after hours session. And the markets are closed. Open. Dave says open. Let's take a look over at open. I'm going to give this a C minus. The only reason that it's probably not, even lower for me there is because I know there is a big short position on this. It has potential to give you a short squeeze. There's a ton of support underneath 6. Here is going to be your just a huge support zone on open. And with the short position that's on there, it always has a potential to squeeze. So if you like this, for a longer type of play, I think the closer you get to 6, the better that you would like it. It really shouldn't get back underneath, $4 or $5, and you have a massive resistance level at 11. If this stock were to ever break 11, then you watch out for a short squeeze. Right? So here's your $11, previous support back there from IPO in 2020, then broke underneath it in 22, became resistance, sold off. You rallied, had a huge big move there earlier this year. the deal with Goldman Sachs and everything took you right up into that resistance level at 11. Now you're consolidating with distribution there. And then now you get this little pullback into the support zone. It has potential for a short squeeze, but it's not something that I personally intend on putting in my long-term portfolio. For me, too small, too risky, too volatile of a play. The company needs to develop and mature a lot more before it becomes a long-term portfolio position for myself. Great question. Tule says, when you're looking for short and long plays for the next day, like tomorrow, do you look at mainly the daily chart? So the majority, my trade ideas come from the daily chart. So when I look at the daily chart first, and then I will decide, do I want to be long or short, right? But I'll make that determination comes from the daily chart. Once I've decided I want to be long, I want to be short, okay, then I go into the intraday chart and I look at the 3-minute, the 5-minute, the 15-minute, and I start to plan out the specifics of my trade now. Now I look at my entry, my profit targets, right? But the daily chart is where I decide, do I want to be long or do I want to be short? And then 3, 5, 15 minutes is where I go ahead and I start to find my entry, my stop loss, my profit targets. Duolingo. I'm going to give Duolingo a C-. Broken chart and, not good earnings. A lot of negatives working on Duolingo right now, but it is at a huge support zone. Okay, this is a huge support level for Duolingo. So if you are bullish on this company, this is a price area where you don't mind owning the stock. But to me, the head and shoulders breakdown, you're going to have an absolute wall of resistance if this thing ever gets back to like 250. And I just don't see it happening. I think it's more likely the stock, trades maybe down to like 140, 150. Any bounce into the 200s, I think it's, you see pullbacks on. So we are going to give that one a C-. Just, mostly because of a broken chart. But you are at a pretty big support level. SoFi, that's a name that's in the long-term portfolio. I like SoFi. We are going to give SoFi right now. We're going to give SoFi a B+. And that's because I think the stock is going through a consolidation phase. And I think the stock is just going to kind of chop around in the low 30s, high 20s for a little while. But I am bullish on SoFi long-term. I think SoFi actually has a good year next year. And if you take a look, we go looking at the daily chart, this is exactly the stuff you want to see, right? So here you guys can see previous all-time high resistance. You broke through it. And then now ever since you broke through it, we've been just kind of holding above that area. And you have a very clear double top up here at 32.5 for your current all-time high. I just think the stock might consolidate inside of this range here for a little while before eventually making a new high. All right. So we are going to go with a B+ on SoFi. I do own this in my long-term portfolio. Any pullback into the those mid 20s, I think is a beautiful spot. 26, 25, great spot. And I think that stock, continues to trade higher. But I do think you need to consolidate for maybe a little while before you really make a nice breakout of that all-time high, 32.5. Yep, my pleasure. My pleasure. And again, guys, don't forget, immediately following this live stream, we are going to have a live training inside of the main chat. Colin, one of our futures trading mods, is going to be doing a live training and live workshop where you guys. No, Hector, I do not. I don't own any leverage ETFs or equities. You don't want to own any of those leverage ETFs long-term. They're trading vehicles only. You don't want to own them long-term. They will decay against you, and you're gonna be far worse off in the long run. You'd be better off if you just owned the equity itself instead of the 2 times or 3 times levered ETFs. You don't want to own those long-term. Those are really meant to be trading vehicles only, not something that you should hold for a year, 2 years. You have to realize those levered ETFs, they reset each day. So if you have a 2 times or a 3 times levered ETF, the goal of that is to, so let's say if you have a 3 times levered Tesla ETF, if Tesla goes up 2% one day, then that ETF is going to be up 6. But if Tesla goes down 3% one day, that is going to be down 9%. And it will reset each day. It's not a rolling leverage. It's a daily leverage. And as you know, if something goes down 50%, it has to go up 100% to break even. So over time, those levered ETFs are going to decay, and it's not going to work out for you the way that you think it might. The thought process is, oh, well, this is 3 times Tesla. So if Tesla goes up 50% over the year, this is going to go up 150%. That's not the case. So no, I do not own any levered ETFs. I'll sometimes trade them. Like I've traded ETHU, which is the 2-time levered Ethereum. So it's 2-time leverage on ETHA. I've traded that. On big dips. Okay, so Hector, it depends on the goal. Like if you're doing it for a swing trade, you could. But if you plan on like buying it and holding it for like a year, 2 years, 3 years, like in a long-term portfolio, it's not going to work out in your favor in the long run. But if you see the markets puke on themselves like they did in April, and you're like, this is way out of control, I'm going to buy some of these because you think over the next couple of weeks the markets are going to rally, then yes. But anything longer than that, you're probably going to do yourself more harm than good holding on to those positions for longer than that. So it just depends on the timing of what you're looking for. If it's just like, hey, I think we're going to rip for like the next month, and you want to go ahead and buy some of those levered ETFs and ride them for a couple of weeks, that's fine. But if you said to me, okay, Mike, I want to buy Tesla because I believe in robotics and self-driving, and I think Tesla is going to have a really nice next 5 to 7 years. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to buy the 2 times or 3 times levered ETF. That's not a good idea. Yep, Hector, anytime, brother. My pleasure. Hymns, good one. That's a good one. Hymns is a good one. Hymns is a good one. For Hymns, we're going to go with B minus. I love the support level at 25 on the weekly, but there is just such a brick wall up here in the high 60s. This is a weekly chart, and you can see how just incredibly clear these levels are. Like there's your pivot, or excuse me, there's your high. You broke through it, support, and then all of that resistance, right? These levels are just so incredibly clear. And now you have a minor level that's also kind of stuck in here where you can set yourself right here. You see that level right there, Fade Doctor, right above $40. So see, here's your support, right? There's support. Then it broke. Now what's happening? It's acting as resistance. So I kind of feel like we're not out of the woods yet here. This thing might drift a little bit more before eventually finding its footing, down in this region. And then I think that that's a big enough support level that you can get a nice little trade from there. So I like Hymns. I think it's a great business model. And I think that, you see their ads everywhere. And I do think it is a growing business. They had some issues there with some of the GLP-1s and everything else, or some of their other, with some of the other drugs and stuff that they were offering. But that kind of gave you a little bit of a hiccup on the stock recently. But I like the business. I like the growth prospects. I like the business. I just think that from a trading standpoint, probably better for a short in the very near term before it turns into a long for the long term. Target, there it is. So if you guys were on my live stream a couple of days ago, we talked about Target as potentially bottoming out finally. And I'll take you to a weekly chart and I'll show you exactly what I'm looking at here on Target. Target, I do not own Target in my long-term portfolio, but I might buy some here soon. And the reason for this is because you will see we had this big resistance level, multi-year resistance, 2015, 2016, 2018, 2019 resistance there in the high 80s. You finally broke through that in 2019. Then you pulled all the way back down into it during COVID and it became support. Then the stock ripped your face-off rally in 2020, 2021, then pulled all the way back down into that level here this year. And you can see it was support. Then it looked like we broke it, then bounced back. Then it looked like we broke it, and then it bounced back again. So this to me looks like the stock is trying to bottom here in those low 80s. And the other thing that I see on top of that support level is what is called a descending wedge. So here is your descending wedge. And you might say, well, Mike, descending wedge, that sounds bearish, doesn't it? Descending wedges are actually trend reversal patterns. Descending wedges are actually bullish. Okay, a descending wedge occurs at the bottom of a downtrend. Okay, an ascending wedge appears at the top of an uptrend. All right, so this is a descending wedge, right? So there's your downtrend, and then there's the descending wedge, and that occurs when you get lower lows and lower highs, and that creates the descending wedge, okay? And then you eventually get to a point where the bottom of that wedge ends up holding, and the stock finally breaks out of the the downward sloping resistance at the top end of the resistance, the top end of the pattern. You finally break above that, and then you break out and you start to experience a new uptrend. So I think that Target is trying to do this. Okay, I do. I think it's trying to do something that looks like this, and I think it's going to make an attempt to get back up into the low hundreds. See this resistance level that's here around 106, 107. That's what I think the stock is going to go to. So here you can see previous support back there in 2023. And then when you broke underneath that in 2024, it's been resistance all year. There's resistance back in March and April, and there's resistance in July and August. So if you do bottom out here with this ascending wedge, the target would be, for the eventual target would be a move to like 106, 107, and then I would take profits into that move. I mean, I would take profits well before that too, but I'm saying I would be out of that position by the time you get up into that area. So it's a turnaround story. Target had a lot of issues over the last 2 years. It is a turnaround story. I think they're going to be able to do it. So we're going to give this a B+. We're going to give this a B+ right now because maybe even an A-, because I think I'm going to put some in my long-term portfolio. And from a trading perspective, there's some of you in here that already went long in the 80s from my live stream a couple of days ago. Some of you were long from inside here and already took profits into 93. 93 is resistance. So if you guys look at my chart right now, I'll show you. I'll draw it out for you guys. There's your 93 zone. Okay, that's where we got to today. And you can see just a little pivot mark. Then you broke underneath it. And ever since you broke underneath it, it was resistance for like 2-3 weeks. So you rallied back into that level today, and then there's your resistance. So now let's look for a little bit of a consolidation here, low 90s, high 80s, and then for us to possibly form a higher low. The higher low, you would want it to be against 89. You can see a pivot low here. Broke down, resistance, broke back above. Now consolidate here, form the higher low. Give me an inverted head and shoulders, okay? Because now give me an inverted head and shoulders. So like follow me, right? Let me delete this so they can clean this up for you guys. Give me that inverted head and shoulders now. There's your left shoulder. There's your head. This would be right shoulder. This is neckline. And that coincides exactly with what I was talking about the descending wedge. breaking out and then making a move. Okay, so we're gonna go. You know what? We're gonna bump this up to. We're gonna bump it up to like a. We're gonna bump it up to like an A minus, and we're gonna see, do we form this inverted head and shoulders? Let's look for pullbacks into around 90, maybe 89, 90, and see if that right shoulder forms and gives us a break of 93 neckline. A break of 93 neckline should take us back to 98, 99, maybe 100. Okay. So there you guys have it. All right. So here we go, guys. So that kind of wraps things up. It's another wonderful, exciting, amazing segment of Grade My Stock. I love doing these with you guys. I know you guys really all enjoy the Grade My Stock segments. It's a lot of fun. We get to, pull up charts on stocks you guys are interested in. I give you my opinions from a technical standpoint, but also from a long-term portfolio perspective. And we come up with a nice grade. Again, these are all my opinions. I tell you guys exactly what I think, and we can break that analysis down for you guys right there in real time. So hopefully when I do these, you also get a feel for some of the technical analysis. You guys can learn from that stuff just there. Okay, folks, members of TTG, the main chat is now open. Colin, in a few minutes, is going to be starting a live and free training session for members of True Trading Group. So hop on into main chat, enjoy the session. Colin is a phenomenal futures trader. Go on in there, guys. Enjoy. It is totally free. Again, if you are not a member of True Trading Group and you guys are interested, if you're on this live stream, we're going to give you a better deal than what we're offering for Cyber Monday. Okay, the Cyber Monday sale is about to go live for the rest of the evening. But if you're on this live stream or you guys are viewing this, send a text message. We'll give you a better deal than what we're going to be offering. Send your first name and your email address to 1-888-621-2127. Phone number is right down there at the bottom of your screen. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Head on into main chat. Chat is now open. Subscribe to the channel and smash the like button. Show some love. I'll see you guys all later. Have a great night.